How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here and welcome back to another video. So it's time to give you guys a bit of an update to how we're doing on Tauren Mill. Like I said, I didn't want to put like a schedule to when these videos were going to come out because I thought I'd save them up until there was actually something significant to talk about in each video. But the factory, as I like to call it, is getting there. We now have, just yesterday actually, dinged 60 on our second character on Tauren Mill, which is going to open up a world of possibilities for us, right? We're going to have the ability to now have all 4 legendary crafting professions up and running. Slightly struggling for gold still, that has to be said. If we jump to our bank character, we can take a little bit of a look at the TSM graph, and it's still not pretty. There's still lots of spikes up and down. Literally every time I sell something, I'm reinvesting that gold into something, but we are slowly chipping away at getting the legendaries up and running. And I wanted to talk today about a little market that we stepped into that was relatively surprising. I'd kind of assumed it was just dead as a dodo, but when we jumped into it, we actually found some pretty impressive results. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about 168 gear. To the fact, actually, I think I'm virtually completely sold out of it again. It seems to be quite surprising to me, at least, just how many people are out there still leveling alts, they're still gearing up, and the 168 gear is still proving to be a pretty good seller. Now, if I actually check the auction house, yeah, it virtually appears like most of it I've sold out of. But we're crafting 168 gear with tailoring, so that's the Shadowlands set. We're also crafting it with leatherworking, which is going to be the shade bound and the shadow scale sets, I believe, if I've got the names of those right. But those things are popping off. You're not going to sell huge amounts of them, but the big advantage of these is the fact that you never just sell one piece, you sell a set. Now, if you can get your prices in order, you can still make a fair amount of gold with this. Like I said, I'm pretty much doubling my money on every single item that I sell. I can probably take a little bit of a look in the ledger maybe and show you guys some actual numbers. If we go to revenue, sales, and we go Shadowlands bits of gear, we've sold over 100 pieces of Shadowlands gear. Let's just put it back to the last 7 days. I don't think we've really been selling the 168 gear for much more than that. But you can see in the last couple of days or so, without much significant effort, I'm not cancel scanning 168 gear. I should also add that, mainly because of the deposit fees. If you post these items because they share, because they have a relatively high vendor price to them, the cost to you to list it on the auction house is usually sort of 5 to 7 gold, meaning that if you do a lot of cancel scanning on these things, you're going to find yourself burning a whole bunch of deposit fees very, very quickly. So I try not to cancel scan them. I might cancel scan them once or maybe twice a day just to keep my auctions, close to the top, but it still sells frequently enough, even on a server as big as this, to not really have much issues. You see Shadowlands gear being flying through the stuff. To be fair, if I was more proactive with actually crafting it and keeping it in stock, I'd probably be able to sell more of it. Over the last day or so, we've probably not seen as many sales as I've probably been running out of some of the profitable stuff. So there's Shadowlands. What we also can look at is, what's it called? What are the other ones? Shadow scale gear. Wow, considerably more shadow scale gear, 147 pieces of shadow scale gear, and you can see the prices are reasonably good still. There are a couple of the items that do use heavy callous hide, things like the shoulders, for example. They do use heavy callous hide, so their actual initial crafting cost is a little bit more expensive, but still less than 500 gold to craft this. Selling it out there for 1,000 gold a piece. Let's just look at the shoulders just by themselves. Shoulders are a popular one. Couldn't necessarily tell you why, but every single piece sold for near enough exactly the same sort of price. Doubling my money on every single one of these. So it cost me 7,000 gold to craft them. Sold them all out for 15,000 gold. Not too difficult at all, not too shabby, all in a day's work. Now, for the mega goblins out there, this is never going to make you rich, but this is one of those little markets that can really, really help bring in that good amount of starting capital for you. I'm basically using the profits from this 168 gear from selling enchants, those two markets themselves, plus a few other little things. We're still selling things like the drums and the armor kits and stuff from time to time as well. But my bread and butter is coming from some of this like catch-up crafted gear, 168 gear, and that is just being pumped straight into legendaries. Let's jump over to the Leatherwork and the Tailor though, and we can take a little bit of a look at how much we've unlocked. When we started this series, we were planning to get all 4 legendary professions maxed out before patch 9.1 lands. Now we still technically don't have a release date for patch 9.1, but my guesstimation is it can't be much more than a month away at this point. End of June, early July is when I expect to see patch 9.1 launching, meaning that we've probably got about a month to get everything leveled up still, and that could be a bit of a long stretch for me. We might not be able to generate enough turnover, and sales really are dipping on legendaries at the moment for me to really sort of... It's more difficult for me to craft something and sell it quickly than it was a few weeks ago. With everybody out playing the Burning Crusade, I guess that's a huge factor in it. But at least where leatherworking is concerned, at least for Umberhide, we have chipped away at a bunch of them and have got some of them maxed, and some of them now looking pretty good. Umberhide arm guards we've got maxed, gauntlets are maxed, the helm is maxed. I've got more of them maxed out than I actually gave myself credit for. Umberhide legs are maxed as well. Pauldrons we've got to rank 3. Rank 3, I should state, is now my minimum. I want to get everything to at least rank 3. One good reason for this is come patch 9.1, you will need to be able to craft rank 3s to be able to craft rank 5s. Now, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to some of you, but there's a new optional reagent coming in patch 9.1 called the Vestige of Origins. It is the use of this Vestige of Origins that basically increases the rank of legendaries by 2 ranks. So if you want to hit the ground running in patch 9.1 and start making the new rank 5 legendaries that everybody is going to want, they have an item level of, this is testing my memory, I want to say item level 249. It's a bit of a random number, but it's going to be a little bit of a nice bump up from what we are currently wearing, which is 235. Everybody's going to want to start crafting those those rank 5s. Now, if you have unlocked rank 3, you're going to be off to the races, right? Because you take your rank 3, you add a Vestige of Origins, and what pops out the end is the rank 5, which is nice. So rank 3 is now becoming my minimum. Shoulders are there, treads are there, vest is there, and yeah, maybe we'll dump a bit of gold into the waistguard at some point just to power it to 3. But as far as Umberhide is concerned, I'm kind of happy where it is. Some of the more popular ones within today's market, I've got to rank 4 already, but most of it is all good to go. Bone Shatter is a different story though. We're still lagging behind pretty heavily in Bone Shatter. Now, one question that has been asked a few times on stream is, well, the quote unquote dead slots, is it worth leveling those? And my answer is probably. The reason I say like Bone Shatter waistguard and arm guards and stuff, for example, the reason being is because there's a lot changing with legendaries in patch 9.1. The legendary powers, they're having their item slots adjusted slightly. Some of them are gaining a 3rd item slot that they can be crafted in. So some of the powers, people might be switching around where they choose to have their legendary on their characters in patch 9.1. So expect the meta to change pretty heavily in that regard. For example, Bone Shatter treads right now, popping off. You can sell these things all day long. But come patch 9.1, that might change. It might randomly, out of nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, switch to be the gauntlets or the arm guards or something. We don't really know yet. Until the stats nerds dive in and they do their sims and they work out what their new best in slot's going to be with all of the new content, it's a bit hard to work out exactly what's going to become like the favourite legendary slot. So I'm just going with a scatter, like spaghetti against the wall approach. I want to get everything to at least rank 3 unlocked by the time 9.1 comes, putting me in a position that if something switches, I'm already there and ready to take advantage of it. So Bone Shatter, yes, is still a little bit behind. You can see mostly rank 1s. The helm at rank 2. Shoulders, no surprise to anybody, I've got maxed out along with the treads. They're the two most popular ones within Bone Shatter at the moment. Vest and the waistguard and stuff, we're getting there slowly but surely. So leatherworking is pretty good. Leatherworking is the legendary profession that I started with, and it's easily the most expensive, which is kind of why I wanted to try and get it out of the way initially. We've recently, though, added tailoring to the mix. Tailoring is in a similar position. Fortunately, tailoring is much, much cheaper to level up. It does mean that I've gone as far as to try and push myself out of what I call rank 1 hell. If I open up Legendary Stock Tracker real quick, let's try and make this less just random blur on the screen. You'll see with the item, the quantities for some of the Grim Veil stuff, I went by the theory, let's just get out of rank 1 hell as fast as possible with tailoring. Now, anybody that watches my content and my stream on a regular basis will know that I never recommend power leveling. For one simple reason, that you're going to craft a lot of a single item, then you're going to have a massive headache trying to sell it to recuperate your cost. With rank 1s though, you've almost got no choice because it's the only one you can craft at that point. You're going to have to craft 15 rank 1s eventually. So if you've got the gold sat aside, and with something like tailoring that's a bit cheaper, there's no reason for you to not power level up to rank 2 at least, which is what I chose to do with tailoring. I just crafted 15 of every rank 1. It's still on Tauren Mill, cost me a fair amount because, you know, arboreal shards are still a thing. But it was worthwhile being able to unlock the rank 2s and keep some of the rank 2s in stock. And by some surprise to me at least, some of the rank 2s are actually even profitable still with tailoring. Not by a huge amount, but enough to, you know, have a couple crafted, keep them on the auction house, get them sold, and it's slowly chipping away. I've managed to do this to a point where I've unlocked a couple of rank 3s. I think the cape is a very popular one because, of course, basically everybody can in theory use it. It's not restricted to just cloth wearers, it can be used by anybody, so the cape is always a popular seller. So we got that one to rank 3 without much of an issue. The rest of them, I think they're the mittens as well, we got to rank 3. The rest of them I think are all sat at rank 2. Oh, the shoulders we got to rank 3 as well. Well, there we go. Now, nothing at rank 4 as of yet with tailoring, but that will come in time. I'm in no rush. Tailoring is relatively cheap. I'm going by the usual theory of, you know, craft a couple, focus on selling them. When they sell, I'll recraft them, and then we can go again. So tailoring is getting there. It's getting there. It's doing pretty well. So yeah, the factory per se is kind of almost done. I've been trying to work out exactly what to do with enchanting. If you're dealing with legendaries and you're limited to the amount of characters that you have, enchanting becomes a bit of a problem straight away. At the moment, my hunter, who is just dinged level 60, is still my enchanter, so he's making all of my enchanted lightless silk, he's making all of the enchanted heavy callous hide for me when I need it, and of course with any spare materials he's doing some shuffling and some disenchanting from time to time, and of course crafting enchants to bring in some turnover. He's likely to be not only a jewel crafter but also a blacksmith very, very quickly. I was super lucky, super lucky. I was able to buy filthy amounts of lacestrite ore a couple of days ago at a very respectable price. If I search for lacestrite ore, I bought nearly 50,000 lacestrite ore, which for me was a lot of gold, right? It cost me 150,000 gold to buy it all, but it was a huge investment because I got it for an average of 3 gold 20. Those that know their vendor prices know that if you can get lacestrite ore for any less than about 3 gold 80, you basically can't lose with it, right? Because at 3 gold 80, even if you can't do something with the lacestrite ore, you can turn it into, I think it's the ceremonious rapiers with blacksmithing, and vendor them and you break even. So getting it for as low as 3 gold 20 a piece and in large amounts is going to do two things. It's going to really power forward my jewel crafting. Jewel crafting on this fella is already maxed out and I already have the legendaries. Not crafted any yet because I need Shadowghast ingots. That will come when we unlock blacksmithing, but that's kind of next in the process. But getting a whole bunch of lacestrite cheap was very beneficial, and I kind of just squirreled it away for a few days. We bought this Bought this quite a while ago now. It was across a couple of days I managed to pick it up. About a week ago that we got all of this Leystrike ore, which is... It was a big investment for me, right? 40,000 gold back here. Oh, 11 days ago we bought 40,000 of it as well. A lot of my liquid gold has gone into this Leystrike, so it's kind of nice that we're almost at a point where we can start using it. My Shadowlands cheat sheet, to give myself a little bit of self-promotion, has become very, very helpful in recent times when it's in regard to trying to just like squeeze the maximum prices out of everything. I've been doing a few vendor shuffles sort of passively in the background, considering I'm running 2 accounts. Running some vendor shuffles in the background has been really, really helpful to just, you know, when you see those cheap materials and you say you have to spend... I know that if I spend 30,000 gold on cheap materials, by the end of the day, I can have turned that 30,000 gold into like 35 or 40,000 gold. It's not a huge step forward in wealth, but it's really, every little helps when you're starting out and you're making that gold. It's why our TSM graph looks up and down so spiky, right? Because the second we get some gold, we're finding something to invest it in to increase our overall wealth. Ignore the sales and expenses numbers for now. They don't really reflect very well. You can see where we started and you can see where we are now after about a month of sort of very casual, an hour or so a day worth of play over on Tauren Mill. But we're getting there, boys and girls. So I thought I'd kind of leave it there for this video. There's not too much to report on this time. I hope you're enjoying this little series. I'm enjoying playing on Tauren Mill. It's a new experience for me running on what is technically a full pop server. The quantity of materials, the speed things sell for, and the profit margins are all very, very interesting to see on a daily basis. But yeah, there's a little bit of an update to how we're going. In terms of leveling and getting the characters in place, kind of done. 260s is enough profession slots to have all 4 legendary crafting professions in. I need to work out Enchanting somewhere, but we have got that 3rd druid who is in prime position to maybe take over Enchanting if needed. Alternatively, level up my bank character to 48, which should only take a few hours. Leveling is relatively quick nowadays, especially with heirlooms and a bunch of rested experience. And he can maybe be the enchanter. But it's work in progress. We are getting there. I'm hoping by the time 9.1 lands, we are sort of primed and ready and fully prepared to take every advantage we can of a full population server. You know, the demand for materials, items, crafted stuff is going to be huge. I hope it's going to be good fun. So I'll leave it there. If you enjoy these videos, remember to give the video a like. It really does help my channel grow. We recently hit 10k subs, which I'm very, very thankful to all of you guys, because of course if you don't press the sub button, nothing happens. But I'll leave it there. Leave your comments down below. If you're starting on a new realm, I'd love to hear if you've got any secret little markets that you may be willing to share on how to like generate some quick and easy gold. I'm always interested in those. But catch us on the stream. We do this each and every day. Twitch.tv/Manthieus. I'd love to see you. Come say hi. Check it out. And we'll all have a laugh. But until next time, boys and girls, have a good one. Peace.